Él es Rey. Tiene autoridad sobre todo, el que vive por los siglos de los siglos. Sea la gloria y todo el honor. Le adorarán delante del trono, el que es digno de los sellos abrir. Sea la gloria y todo el honor. Jesús es Dios y nuestro Rey, el príncipe de paz, el león de la tribu de Judá. Jesús es Dios y lo diré, aunque otros digan no. Él es Dios, Él es Rey y Señor. Jesús es Dios y nuestro Rey, el príncipe de paz, el león de la tribu de Judá. Jesús es Dios y lo diré, aunque otros digan no. Él es Dios, Él es Rey y Señor.
How's it going, everyone? Gustavo Romo here to share with you guys a quick tutorial on GenesisCampos' latest song, Jesús es Dios. Now, when we're looking at the very beginning of the song, we don't really, as you can hear, for the majority of the song, us trombone players, we have to wait a little bit until we actually get some stuff going. There is a little bell tone sequence going on at the beginning, but other than that, we do wait a bit, right? One thing to keep in mind is once we do eventually start playing, we are in unison with the trombone one. Now, what is unison? Unison just means that you're playing together with the person right next to you, So if there's two trombones that you're playing with, make sure that you guys get together, and when you are playing that solo, make sure you guys get together and understand articulations. Make sure that you're breathing the same way. Make sure that you guys are, playing at the same dynamic level, the same articulations, just so that you get two players to sound like one. We want everything to sound nice and as smooth as we possibly can, right? So another thing to think about is when we are playing Jesús es Dios, there are methods to play these specific notes. For example, one in particular that I found was, as a trombone player, I tend to always use this little trigger thing right here. Most of you guys, if you're trombone players, you're already familiar with the F attachment. But for those who are not, this little trigger right here, this button, lets me switch from, reach some notes a lot closer to my first and fourth position. For example, if I want to play a concert B, normally what you'd have to do is you'd have to play it all the way out here. Now, what I find about that note is that it can be a little bit inconsistent on the trombone, just because it's such a little, if you don't practice it thoroughly, it can be a hard note to tune. So what I like to do is I like to press the trigger and play the concert B in a flat 2 position. And I find that note to be a lot more consistent in intonation wise. So when you're playing Jesús es Dios, if I'm right, we're in the key of B minor, so you're going to be using that note a lot. And I find the best way to keep that note in tune to make it sound good is by using that trigger. So, for example, if I'll play it slow. that's just an example, right? But I use that tip to help me get a more consistent sounding on those notes that are just really far to reach, you know. And you can apply that to every song that you play, you know. Adapting to using the trigger will help you become a more fluid musician as a trombone player. You know, for example, like if you're playing Ay Libertad, if you're playing other songs like that where you're just moving a lot, it can be kind of difficult to reach all the way out when you need to play notes that are up here. So if you have that ability, I recommend it. I highly recommend that you look into practicing with your trigger. And if not, then you know there's always other methods to do it. Maybe you've reached a point where you have trained hard enough to where reaching out to 7th position all the way back into 2nd is just no big deal. It's a walk in the park for you, right? And one of the biggest points out of this whole song for Jesús es Dios is most of the time you're doubling with first trombone anyway. So the most important thing is to blend balance with the person that you are playing with. You know, if it's just you, make sure that you're producing a warm, good tone. Do, do, do is the sound that you should be making, you know, when you're playing into this horn. You want to get a nice, round, smooth sound. You know, and as musicians, our goal is to play, you know, the most quality of sound possible, right? Now, since we're playing most of the time, sometimes we're playing unison, sometimes we're playing harmonies with trombone 1, other times we're responding to trumpets, but the main goal is to create a nice warm sound because at the end of the day, trombones are used as foundation instruments for instruments like trumpet and saxophones, things like that, you know. We're there to provide a bass, but we're there to do it well, all right? I hope this helps. Have a good day. God bless. Take care.